man, you're gonna miss your mama's cooking. Bonjour mes amis, ça va? I hope you guys are doing well today. So today is going to be all about the things I wish I knew before I moved to France or abroad in general. Guys, there's actually a lot. Like, we don't realize how stressful like living abroad and how such a foreign concept, excuse the pun, foreign concept that it actually becomes, because your life in wherever you're from is never the same as it is in another country, and it'll always be different. And I wish I'd known these things before to get my mindset ready, and also just to get my life ready in general. If I was to have done this, I think my whole experience would have been a lot more smoother. Even though I don't regret any of it. I'm really grateful for the opportunities I've had and how I've gone about it and how I've managed to make it work. So, but I do wish I had learned these things before, and I want you guys to be more ready for it when you do decide to move abroad and make that jump. So let's go into it. I have it all written on my phone, so I'm just going to be looking at my phone a few times to just confirm what it is that I have written down. So these are the things that I wish I knew before I moved abroad. Let's get into it. So firstly, I wish I knew how hard life would be as a foreigner. Oh my gosh. I think in any country, if you go abroad, you're going to have a very difficult life in terms of like documentation, visas, or what have you. It's very different from when you're living in a country and you've always lived there. I think in South Africa, I only had my birth certificate to worry about, and my birth certificate, my ID, and maybe a passport when I wanted to travel. But that's the only time I ever visited the foreign department in South Africa. So for me, it was huge because I literally lived there now in France, having to change my visas, change statuses, and what have you. And I wish I had known that this would be such a big thing in my life. So get myself mentally ready as well, just for the whole experience, because it's not a joke, guys. It's really, really hectic. But I'm grateful for the experience as well. I've learned a lot. I've had to learn a lot very fast as well, get on top of my administration and get really involved in what's going on in France, and how there's many changes in the visa processes and what have you. Sometimes it goes online, sometimes you need to go there directly. So a lot of things change, and I'm glad that I've been able to figure it out. Mostly figure it out. Secondly, I wish I knew that, okay, in another country, you know what, it's going to be very difficult to actually kind of understand everything that happens, because every country does things its own way. Paying taxes, how you go around, how you do your rent, and things like that. All these things that are, every country is different, and I didn't know this when I moved. I thought, oh, I mean, it's another Western country, you know, it's going to be similar. No, it's not. Like, paying taxes is different in this country, and if you don't know the documentation, you have to read about it. I don't have to read in South Africa because I've lived there my whole life. These are things that people having lived in the country would know because they live there. So it's very difficult coming from another country and knowing the ways of your country and not really taking the time to learn the processes in this other country. It will really screw you over. So I really, 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 really want you guys to, if anything, from what I've learned, read up about everything about the country you're moving to. Make sure you understand the way the process is, especially the stuff that's illegal. You don't want to get yourself in a legal issue or what have you because you didn't know. They're not going to take that. They're not going to take that as an excuse. You need to know what's going on and make sure that you're on top of that. So I wish I knew that, because I had to learn very fast, because I was like, you know, it's France, it's going to be fine, it's going to be chilled. So many things that I didn't know about, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And it's a whole lot more complicated in France as compared to South Africa. So that's another thing. Just because your country is simpler doesn't mean that other countries are as well. So just be aware. Another thing is, everything is going to be a lot harder for you in regards to being a foreigner, because unfortunately, foreigners are not exactly the most consistent people, because jobs-wise, in terms of visas, nobody actually wants to take you on in regards to maybe taking on a credit, if you want to take on credit, or you want to buy a house or things like that. Like, people are very hesitant when it comes to a person being a foreigner in another country, because they're not sure if they're going to be consistently be able to pay for whatever it is that they want. So applying for anything is going to be a lot more difficult. They're going to want more paperwork, because they want to confirm that they get, and specifically in France, I noticed they want to guarantee that you're going to be able to pay off what it is that you are taking on, and also just be able to stay in the country. If they take you on, are you going to lose your visa, and then they're not going to be able to get their money back? So it's a lot more difficult as a foreigner to get any form of application accepted, from credit to buying a house to anything of that sort. So just be aware of that you're going to be closely looked into more than another person who's lived there their whole life, or who is a foreign national. And this is a more interesting one, a more fun one, I guess, is the weather might take some time to get used to. Me coming from the southern hemisphere, I'm used to sun. Even in winter, we have sun, and it's not like, it just helps you. It helps you with your, in terms of your mentality. Like your head is in a good space. Even if it's winter and it's cold outside, seeing the sun is always great. And I know the winter is very short. It's chilly in South Africa, yes, but it's very short and it gets to the point, and we move on. But here in France, I've noticed that wow, it's really intense. It's really intense, and winter is so long. I feel like it's like 3/4 of the year it's winter, and majority of the time there's no sun. So in terms of my mental state, I've had to adjust to understand that yes, I'm in a different country and it's cold all the time, and I just need to make sure that I don't, get myself into a space where I'm a bit depressed and I want to like sit indoors because it's cold. If it's cold, doesn't matter. That's how my mentality space is now. I don't care what weather it is outside. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Unless obviously it's outside and it's like sitting and it's raining. I'm not gonna sit there with an umbrella, But in general, what I'm saying is I try to change my mentality in regards to what the weather is, and I'm not gonna change what I do. I'm just gonna change my mindset in that, okay, it's raining, we just need to get dressed up, more comfy, but we're still gonna go out, we're still gonna have our life, we're still gonna do it. So things like that, like getting your mindset ready for a huge change in the weather as well, is something I personally wish I was more ready for, because wow, it's cold here. It's cold. And another thing is, making friends here is going to be a lot more difficult because people have their friendship groups already. People already know who their friends are. They grew up with them. Most of the time they grew up with them, specifically in the French are very like cliquey. So if you come here, be ready to have some times where you're going to be a bit lonely in the beginning, where you're not going to know anybody, but you're going to have to put yourself out there, because nobody's going to come to you and say, hi, you want to be friends? No, they're not going to do that. You need to go onto these social medias, opportunities with like I've said before, Bumble, where you can make friends. Literally, there's an option to meet up with people, and you can find people with similar interests and meet up with them like that. Or you can literally just go out and try and interact with people, which is a lot more difficult. But there's a lot of events that happen for foreigners, things like that. So go to those, interact with people, because if you're sitting and you're waiting for people to come to you, they're not going to come to you. You're in another country, they have their friends, they have had their friends for the longest time, and they're not going to be really interested in you unless you come and you make the effort. So knowing that you're going to have times in the beginning where it's not going to be as easy to make friends, and you're going to have to put yourself out there. And if you're a shy person, I don't know, like you need to really just be aware that nobody's gonna come to you. You're gonna have to go there and make friends. It's better if you maybe we're coming from school, because you're gonna have your schoolmates that are gonna obviously be great to continue the relationships with. So and work sometimes not. Sometimes people in work are more about their own lives, but it's important that you put yourself out there and you interact with people if you want to make friends in a foreign country. So that's another thing you need to take into consideration. Oh, and one thing, oh man, you're gonna miss your mama's cooking. I literally used to go to my mom's house every Sunday and get like, some good food, because I mean I can cook, but like there's nothing that beats your mom's cooking. And so I've realized that in France, yes, it's great. I mean, the food is amazing. I love the food, don't get me twisted, but there's just some things that I cannot get here, sauces that I miss, spices that I miss that I can only get back at home, and I can't get a hold of them to make the dishes that I want. And also like it's a different type of, you might find something, but it might not be the same. Like the mayonnaise here, guys, I don't know what people call mayonnaise in France. I don't know, it's not mayonnaise in my opinion. In my opinion, it's not mayonnaise, but okay, apparently that's what they call mayonnaise. So some things like that, which you would not normally, think are important, actually become like a huge thing. Because now when I come back, I swear I'm gonna go shopping, grocery shopping, and my suitcase is just gonna be full of all the ingredients that I can only find in South Africa. Because wow, I miss some of my sauces, and also the way of cooking. Like South Africa, we're about flavor, we're about meat, that have all that stuff. And I can, like, my one pet peeve is that I can never find good ribs in France. I have yet to find a place with amazing ribs, and I love my ribs. And in South Africa, I can find them anywhere. I can find my great ribs anywhere. So I miss that, and I really wish I had mentally prepared myself for this, or also just prepared myself in general, like bought in more food when I came in. Like, but now that I've learned my lesson, like every time I do go home, I'm going to just be grocery pack everything in there, It's the only way. If you want to feel most comfortable and still have a piece of home, with you, that's the only way you're gonna do it. So make sure you're aware of that. Another great thing is you're gonna change the way you see the world. I think every country has its own way of doing things, and I think I've come to understand that I really love the way that France is in terms of like the way the concept of life is about living in France. It's not just about making money, it's not about the fast life. It's really about enjoying your life, enjoying the small things about life, enjoying great food, enjoying having great times with your friends, traveling. Those are the most important things in life. And whereas that is different from my country, I think we're still a bit of a new country. Obviously, we're still a new country, still developing, and everybody's like money, money, money. Make things happen. And I think that's one of the things I'm really grateful for having moved here, because I feel like I enjoy my life more. It's not trying to impress anybody. It's just about enjoying my life, my everyday life. And that's what I'm saying. In terms of your way that you see life, the way that you conceptualize things is going to change, and people are going to not and maybe understand you when you go back home, and they're going to be like, what is this person on about? But you need to understand that that's what it is about traveling. You get to experience new things, you get to change who you, it develops and makes you a better person. So for me personally, I love that aspect. But I did not know it was going to happen this much. I did not know it was going to change me, the way I think, the way I see life as it has already. But I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm grateful that I have had this experience so far. And another thing is, one thing which just happened because of 2020 is things like COVID. Like, you need to be ready for the fact that you might not be able to go home. You might be end up locked up. The experience that you expected might not happen, because unfortunately the world is an unexpected place that we live in. Things happen, things change, and I came in a year or two before COVID. Life was amazing, everything was open, and then all of a sudden, boom. And then I had to stay at home, and I couldn't go back home to my country. I missed my family. I haven't seen them over for 2 years, and things like that. So you have to be mentally ready to deal with changes. Change is going to happen. It's going to happen, and unfortunately, some of it is going to be out of our hands, like how we are. If you're living abroad, you can't just hop in your car and go home. It's not as simple as that. So you just need to be mentally ready for all the changes that come with that. Things are going to happen, and you need to be mentally cohort to understand that wow, COVID, so you're not going to be able to live your best life for a bit. You're not going to be able to travel for a bit. So just be mentally ready that anything can happen. We live in a world which is nothing is certain, so we never know. So yeah, you need to be aware of that. And lastly, what I really wish I did is that, in terms of like dating and meeting a person, it's not that it would change, or people are different. Yeah, that's one thing I can say, is that dating is different. It's a different experience, and I'm glad I've moved and experienced this, because I realize how different people are, how different cultures are. And so I really do think that in terms of like your mindset of or people that you've dated before might change as well. You might find yourself dating a different type of individual, because you're living in a different foreign country, so people are different. But that's the great thing about it. You get to experience actually who is it that you're. So maybe your life partner's is from Iceland. You don't know. You never know what's going to come in your way in terms of the dating pool, and that's something that's really been interesting and an exciting journey in France. So I hope you've enjoyed this type of content, guys. I'll be doing more of this type of stuff, obviously helping you guys maneuver the whole process of moving. I want to make it more interactive, so guys, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see, what you guys want to know about the process of living abroad. I think I'm gonna move. I already started a bit of in my previous episodes on the schooling side of things, but now I want to do more of if you want to live and work here, what you need to take into consideration. And I hope you guys will stay tuned, and if you love this type of content, traveling content, living abroad, my life abroad, please subscribe to my channel and comment. I really appreciate all the love, and I hope to see you guys next time. Au revoir, mes amis.